Okay, so in this video I'm going to talk about using vertices to trace an image and make that image into a 3D mesh. And then I'm going to talk about adding font to an object, or words basically. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is get a background image. So I've already done a Google search. I found my image, saved it somewhere that I can find it, hopefully. I think I saved it to my Y drive. There it is, cat head. So I don't see it right away, and that's because I'm not in an ortho view. So I go to ortho, and then I need to be in either top, front, or right. It makes the most sense to me to think that I'm looking down from the top. So I'm going to do top ortho. Okay, and I actually don't need this cube, but I don't want to delete it in object mode. I actually want to delete it in edit mode. And the reason for that is that you cannot go into edit mode unless you actually have selected an object. So I'm going to go into edit mode and delete my cube here. Delete, I'm in vertex select, so I'll delete vertices. It's gone. I'm still in edit mode. And now if I hold down Control and use my left click, my normal click button, I can start adding vertices. See that I've added two. This gizmo gets in the way. It won't let you add a vertex on top of this gizmo. So you can come down to the bottom and click on the thing that looks like the gizmo. It will go away, and you can control click, and basically just trace the outline of your shape. I'm going to go super fast here. I would do a better job, but I don't want this video to take forever. Oh, that was bad. Ear, and then when I get to a place where I want to connect these two, I can select the two vertices I want to connect, and just like we did for face, we're going to do F, and that fills in between those two vertices and connects the whole thing. And now I can hold down Alt and select, right click to select, and this gives me my basically where I'm going to make my face. So F to make a face. This is the time when you want to go in and do all this adjusting. You can select an edge and subdivide it, and that will give you another vertex here that you can use. Oh, come on, come on. Why is it not letting me grab that? There we go. Oh, I was using my wrong click, that's why. Anyway, so you would want to adjust this, get it all looking exactly how you want it. Once it's beautiful and perfect, you can select that face and extrude, and magically now you have a 3D object. Okay, and then you could, well, now I can't see my face, so I'm going to go back out into object mode. I'm going to turn my gizmo back on. I'm going to move this out of the way so I can see some of the parts of my face. So if I tab back into edit mode, I can make all of these little individual pieces if I want. I could also, and then add them on to the top of my cat and make sure they're touching. And later when I talk about how you're going to submit your 3D print, we'll talk about what you need to do to make sure it all stays together when it prints. That's another video. Or I could do some knife cutting along these edges. You know, something like this maybe. Hit enter, and now I have a face that I can, oh, let's try that again. Whoa! Now I have a face that I can extrude, but not if I'm looking straight down at it. Whoops. Oh my gosh. There we go. So there's some of that little fur on the cat or whatever. I could add a subdivision surface modifier and smooth that out. It's a little wonky. Let's see my view here. Yeah, I would probably want to work with that a little bit. And If you want certain faces to be more distinct, you can inset them. So if I do an eye on that face, I don't know if you could see that. Oop. I'll Control Z, Control Shift. So I undid it and I'm going to redo it with Control Shift Z. You can see that face kind of suck up to that top thing. Now, I'm not really sure what's going on here and why this is going kind of toward the center face dot here. I'm guessing it has something to do with my knife cut. So I don't know if you remember this, but when we were talking about subdivision surface modifiers, I talked about how if there's ever an edge or a vertex that's kind of hanging out in space, a lot of times that is the subdivision surface modifier doesn't really like that. Sometimes you can help fix that. I don't know if this is going to work by doing something like, oh no. Okay, let's try that again. Knife cut, grab that, hit enter, and that starts to help smooth it out because there's not just these, I don't know, these vertices that are super hard to deal with for the subdivision surface modifier. So I'm going to try and select that. Oh, knife cut, select that. Somewhere over maybe here-ish. Hit enter, and that starts to smooth it out. Oh my gosh, I keep forgetting to get my knife. There we go. There we go. Hit enter. And that's looking a little better. Okay. So that's one way to smooth things out. And then I would definitely want to make sure this bottom part is not curved. So if I do, let's see if an inset face might help. Inset. Let me go in just a little bit. And that helps the bottom be flat, but it gives you a little bit of a curved edge still, which is what we want. Okay. Now let's say we want to add some text to this. So I'm in edit mode. I'm going to add, oh, maybe I have to be in object mode. I'm in object mode. I'm going to add, where is it? Text. So kind of down past the lamps. When I add text, it says text, which is probably not what you want to say. So if you hit tab with that object selected, now I'm in edit mode, and this is actually a cursor. So if I backspace, I can delete that and put on whatever I want. I'm going to say cat. Now, you'll notice that this is completely flat. Let's get rid of this here. And because I have this selected, well, I'm, out in object mode, I had it selected, and now I'm in edit mode. I have this F that I can work with. So either in object mode with this selected or edit mode with this editable. This F is for the basically font. You can do a few things. You can extrude, so this under geometry modification, there's offset and there's extrude. So extrude is basically the height. You can see it growing over here. It's getting taller. Let me zoom in. So you don't want your text or really anything on your object to be too tall and skinny. It's not going to print well. So if I do something like this where it's super tall and skinny, all of this whole and, well, the C would probably be fine, but this whole wouldn't print very well. And the skinnier it is, the less well it will print. So you kind of want to, a good rule of thumb is however wide your letters are, don't go taller than that. I'm going to leave it a little bit taller because I want to leave just a bit on the bottom that I can sink in here. And in fact, now that I think about it, this is a curved surface, so I'm going to make it even a little bit extra tall, and then I'll just make sure I sink it in so that just approximately the width of a letter is sticking up out of my object. Okay, now unfortunately, just doing this is not enough. This will not 3D print because this is not actually a mesh. This is a text object, which is somehow just different from a mesh, and only meshes can be exported to 3D print. Oh, before I talk about that, let's say you don't like this font. Over here, under fonts, you can go to this folder here and find under Windows, like if you're in the C drive, and then under Windows, there is a fonts folder. And probably you have a cajillion fonts. I do anyway. I like to download fonts. And it's not very helpful because you can't see what they look like. But I have a handy tip for you. If you go to WordMarket, wordmark.it, this will preview whatever word you want. So I want cat. And then you say load fonts. It previews all the fonts that exist on your computer. So you can look, you can be like, okay, you know, whatever one. I don't know. I'm taking way too long for this. I want Arial rounded MT bold. Okay, so then I'm going to go back into Blender. I'm going to look for Arial bold. Let's see. Well, I don't see rounded. It might be somewhere. Oh, wait, found it. Arial RDBD. I bet that's it. So then if I click on that, either double click or click and then say open font, now my font has changed. To make this a mesh, I believe I need to be in object mode, but maybe not. Yep. So I'm going to go back out to object mode, and when this is selected, I'm going to go into object, convert to, mesh from, over here it says text. So you want to convert to text. Convert to mesh from text. It doesn't look like anything happened, but if I go back into my edit mode, now I have all these crazy faces. I haven't actually noticed that all these crazy faces make a difference when I am trying to print it. It seems to print the same no matter what my faces look like, so I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to go ahead and tab back into object mode. I'm going to move my, where is it? Move my cat name over here. I will look at it from the side. It needs to be embedded in the other object. You don't want to have any gaps, so make sure you check that carefully. And I'm going to double check my height to see. I want it to be about the same height as it is width, and it's a little tall. Even lower is totally fine. You could even, if you want to be super fancy, you could even Boolean this. So if I select this object, I add I don't know what this is going to do with my subsurf. I'm going to go ahead and apply. I'm going to add my Boolean. I'm going to do a difference, add my text. Let's see what happens. Hoo-hoo-hoo! So now I have the word cat. It's probably harder to see. Well, no, that didn't help. Yeah, well anyway, the word cat is indented into my cat face. So anyway, you can either leave this just sitting kind of in here, and then again when I do a video on how to export this for 3D printing, I'll talk about what you can do to make sure that these objects stay together.